Hey YouTube, it's your boy TriniFX here, back with another trading recap. Um, this one's gonna be quick. Got to my trading desk a little late today, so let's get into it. So starting off on the higher time frame, this is on an hourly chart. Just looking back at yesterday, we saw price deliver into this 1 hour fair value gap, still respecting the consequent encroachment, and then traded away. If we zoom out, remember we are still in a higher time frame dealing range. So we saw price trade above the 50 level, then back below, and it could not break above the 50 level. So we saw the candles price respecting the 50 level. So coming into today, I originally had a bearish bias. So we saw Asia open, and I was looking to see initially price take yesterday's low, Thursday's low, and then we had lower sell side liquidity here, which is the end of the dealing range. So when I got to my chart, I looked at what price did. Asia traded lower, took yesterday's low, and then began to trade higher. Midnight open, we saw price trade down, and then in London, we traded up into this 1 hour SIBI. You could see price never really got above the consequent encroachment of this bearish fair value gap. So that also added to my bearish bias for the day. However, we still needed to see what New York would have given us. So price traded lower, and if we drop to a 50-minute time frame, this is where things got a little more interesting. So let's take a look here. So this is pre-New York. We saw at 8 o'clock price traded up into this SIBI here, and at 8:30 price continued to respect the consequent encroachment of this SIBI, which sent price lower. So again, my bias was bearish for the day, or at least the morning time. So as New York opened, we saw a price which was inside this 15-minute SIBI, traded lower. Keep your eye on this level here. All right, so we're going to drop to a 1-minute time frame to see what price did. Now, if you guys have studied my previous videos, I always like to wait for price to trade into a higher time frame fair value gap. Now, seeing that 9:15 price already traded into this SIBI here, I was monitoring it to see if it found some support to send price higher, or if we found the resistance to send price lower. As you can see, price did trade lower, dropping to the 1-minute time frame. Remember, I got to my chart late, so I was just reviewing price after market open, traded lower. I would have marked off my first presented fair value gap. However, when price traded into it, it actually inversed it and then began to chop. So there was no real displacement from 9:30 to about 9:50, 10 o'clock hour. So we saw price trade up and then trade back down. So I got to my chart, let's say around 10:30. And this is where I studied to see what price did. So jumping back onto a 15-minute time frame, in the morning from 9:30, I didn't take an entry because I was not at my desk. So when I got to my desk around 10:30, we could see price initially traded higher, taking the stops above this high. So the liquidity was purged and price began to trade lower. So I marked off this initial fair value gap because I wanted to see price trade down into it and head higher, because we saw bullish momentum was at play. So my initial bias, as I said, was lower. 9:30 traded down, and we see all these rejection wicks taking price higher. So remember, I told you, keep an eye on this initial SIBI. Rallied up, found resistance, sent price lower, and then it was broken. So this now became my inversion fair value gap. So as price was trading down into this 15-minute fair value gap, we dropped back to a 1-minute time frame and we looked for an entry. When I saw price hit this 15-minute fair value gap and inverse this 1 minute and this 1 minute here, I did take a long. Stop was right below the candle board bodies. I was targeting the initial high off of 930. As we could see, this ended up as a loss. So I took that initial loss, dropped back to a 15-minute time frame to evaluate what happened, and we could see this 15-minute fair value gap here, price actually was reaching for that. So it traded down into it, and it also respected this inversion fair value gap. So guys, one thing, I want you to take note is we always leave room for price to trade into a lower fair value gap. This entry that I took here on the 1-minute time frame, that was a rushed entry in hindsight. I should have allowed for a shift in market structure, which did not happen. I took it on an inverse 1-minute fair value gap. However, price was reaching for this lower gap here. And if we look at it now, we can see a low, high, lower low broken. So this actually was our breaker. For those who study ICT will know that this is a breaker. So we had several confluences now pointing to this high being taken and higher prices. So got stopped out here on a loss. No big deal. Price traded down into this 15-minute fair value gap. Also traded down into this breaker, which I don't have it marked off, but it's this bullish green candle here. Price traded into it, and then we see price respect this 15-minute inversion fair value gap. So when I saw price reject, I dropped back to my 1-minute time frame, and there we could have looked to frame another entry. So price dropped into the green shaded area, which is my 15-minute bullish fair value gap. Price respected this 15-minute inversion gap and began to trade away. So it also inversed this 1-minute CB. If you go on your 2-minute time frame, it also inversed a 2-minute CB. So when I saw the 2-minute CB got inversed, drop back to a 1-minute time frame just to enter, and as that candle closed, I entered the trade, stopped below the bodies of the candle, and I was targeting this high and all the way up here, right? Because remember, this was the initial high that I was targeting. So when price ran up, it retraced. As it broke above that candle high, I took the trade off the table for a 1.62 risk to reward because we were going into the lunch hour. I just wanted to take my profits. So I exited the trade. We could see the trade actually took out the high, ran for a little more, and then traded lower. So all in all, we got stopped out for a loss here. That's okay. We re-entered because my conviction was still bullish. We re-entered on this candle here. We got the win, so we recouped this loss. And that was the trading recap for today. So in hindsight, guys, we always must wait for a higher time frame pool of liquidity, whether it's a fair value gap or a high to be taken or rated or price traded into. Then we could look for our entry on a lower time frame. So price broke above this CB, turning it into an inversion, and price came back down and found support within the 15-minute fair value gap, the inversion fair value gap, and we also had this breaker. So 3 PD arrays that gave me a more confidence to re-enter my long bias, and it played off. So guys, that was a recap for today. I hope you found value in this trading recap. I'm here to show you my wins and losses. I'm not going to hide anything. That's the nature of the game. So like the video, share it, subscribe to the channel. Some of you guys who watch the videos are not subscribed. If you can do me the favor and just subscribe so the algorithm could, push my video out to connect with other traders who are on their journey, and love to connect to hear from you guys. So until we talk again, stay safe. Bye bye.